The Silence of Power, from Robert Ouko to Modern Kenya. Kenya is a democratic country. A country with a constitution, elections and institutions. A country that promises freedom, justice and rule of law. Behind the politics, behind the speeches and behind the promises, there are stories. Stories of power, stories of fear, stories of silence. For decades, Kenya has witnessed mysterious deaths, political battles, and questions that were never answered. To understand modern Kenya, we must go back to one name, one man, one death that shook the entire country. The death of Robert Ouko. In the 1980s, Kenya was a one-party state. Politics was not just competition. Politics was survival. Government critics were arrested. Journalists were silenced. Detention without trial was common. Fear was part of politics, and powerful people operated in the shadows. In this government, one man stood out, educated, confident, internationally respected. That man was Robert Ouko. Robert Ouko was one of the most powerful ministers in Kenya. He served as Minister for Foreign Affairs. Many believed he could one day become president. But power attracts enemies. And in politics, enemies do not always fight in the open. In February 1990, Robert Ouko disappeared. Days later, his body was found near Gotalila Hill in Koru. His body had been burnt. He had been shot. Kenya was in shock. How could a senior government minister be kidnapped and killed? Who had the power to do this and why? Investigations began. Scotland Yard was called from the United Kingdom. The investigation mentioned powerful people. Names were mentioned. Reports were written. But the case went silent. Witnesses disappeared. Reports were hidden. Politicians denied involvement. Up to today, the murder of Robert Ouko remains one of Kenya's biggest political miseries. The truth remains buried in silence. Many years later, Kenya changed. New constitution, democracy, freedom of speech, social media. But some stories began to sound familiar again. Bloggers arrested, activists missing, people dying in police custody. Kenyans began asking questions again, just like in 1990. What happened? Who is responsible? Why are there always no answers? Kenya has changed in many ways. Roads have been built. Cities have grown. Technology has improved. Democracy has expanded. But some questions remain the same. Is political power still dangerous? Do powerful people still control the truth? Why do some cases never end? The death of Robert Ouko is not just a story of one man. It is a story about power. It is a story about justice. It is a story about a country still searching for answers. Maybe the biggest question is not who killed Robert Ouko. Maybe the biggest question is, has Kenya really changed? Have the players changed while the game remains the same? This is the silence of power. The silence of power, from Robert Ouko to modern Kenya.